Well, hello there. Welcome to the webcast. My name is Ken Narita. I work here at Ooma in the marketing department and excited to share with you Ooma Meetings today. So thanks for joining. This webcast, let's see, I'm going to take you through a handful of slides. I'm going to then transition over to a demo. And then I'm going to actually refer back to some of the slides because there are some of the features that's a little bit hard to share or express to you that I want to show because I'm going to be the only participant actually in an Ooma meeting. And so it's kind of odd. At any rate, should take then less than 30 minutes. And hopefully you get a good education as it relates to all of the features and functionality as it relates to Ooma meetings. So before I begin, though, if you don't know who Ooma is, we've been part of the communications industry for quite some time and providing solutions to home users and business users alike. We were founded in 2004. We're based out here in the Silicon Valley in Sunnyvale, and we have over 2 million users. And part of the reason why we continue to grow as a business is the fact that Ooma Office has been continuing to win awards. So for the 7 years in a row, we have been beating a lot of big brand, big competitors. And the survey is a Reader's Choice Award, so not an editor's award, so actual users and customers that are using Ooma Office. And we continually beat out the rest as it relates to reliability, as it relates to cost, as it relates to support, just a variety of different dimensions that the PC Mag Reader's Business Choice Award covers. And so know that if you choose Ooma, you are in good hands. So the one of the primary value propositions of Ooma Office has always been being able to essentially run your business anywhere, and it's definitely been more relevant during the pandemic. And part of being able to run your business anywhere essentially means that you're going to be able to communicate with whom you need to communicate anywhere, whether it be coworkers, customers, partners. And what that means in terms of call management is there's a variety of different ways that Ooma enables you to handle those calls. And so whether it's a virtual receptionist taking in those calls and it's pre-programmed with messages and routing and whatnot, or via through ring groups, or being able to essentially, direct callers to extensions and whatnot, it's a powerful tool so that you still are able to connect with whom you need to connect with anywhere. And by anywhere, there are a variety of options to do so. And so not only do we have a mobile app, we have a desktop app, there's the hardware phone option as well. And all of those different endpoints have, different features as it relates to them. One of them relates to obviously the mobile and desktop apps in terms of messaging and texting. And whereas obviously the desktop phone, depending on your call volume and whatnot, may be a device that you prefer to handle and to talk to all of those customers and or prospects, that is an option as well. And the kinds of those options, whether they be an IP phone or an analog phone, the great thing about Ooma Office is that we enable you to pretty much work with any one of those kinds of devices. And so we also have a base station that if you prefer to continue using analog phones, you could actually do so. One of the great things about it in terms of the base station also enables you to use traditional fax. So even in this day and age, there are legal, medical, insurance customers of ours that continually use fax to this day, and actually the base station actually enables them to do so. And so whether if it's accessing calls or customers through the desktop app or the mobile app or the desktop phone, know that you have plenty of options to actually set up your business as well as your users. So Ken, why are you going through Ooma Office? I'm here to talk about or listen to hear about Ooma Meetings and what that has to offer. The reason why I'm actually going through this really quickly is that Ooma Office and its iteration, Ooma Office Pro. So we're very um, simple to use, easy to buy, and we have straightforward pricing as it relates to 2 tiers of our service. And Ooma Office has, you know, all of these features that are that come inclusive of $19.95 monthly per user, no nickel and diming. But then what we found is that there is a subset of businesses out there that needs slightly more advanced features. Some of them are smaller businesses that need those advanced features. Some of those are larger businesses that need those advanced features. And so as we built Ooma Office Pro, we wanted to be sure to handle and address those needs. And so we made video meetings as part of that offering, all for $24.95 monthly per user US. So again, simplistic pricing for any business, large or small, to know that they're entering into a system in which they're not going to get dinged for every single feature that they may need. And so everything that you see here, again, $19.95 monthly per user, and then Ooma Office Pro, $24.95 monthly per user. So now let me switch gears here and talk more about why we're here, Ooma Meetings. That only took about 6 minutes, right? So we're good. Ooma Meetings. Some of the key features that you'd expect, right? High quality video, audio, simultaneous screen sharing. That's not a feature that every single provider has out there. And what that enables your visitors to do and use is that multiple people can actually be sharing their screen simultaneously. And then you, as the viewer, can actually select which screen that you want to view more closely. And so it enables better collaboration, better note taking, just better productivity, right? Because now you're not hinged on, looking at only one screen in terms of what one viewer is showing or what one user is showing. There's active speaker views, gallery views, in-meeting chat. Currently, the limit to participants is 25, which is more than enough for, I would want to say, actually about 80% of our customers. And so, that limit, what we're looking into currently is how we can also expand them for those customers that have additional needs. But moving on beyond that, moderator controls, join in browser. So this one is particularly fantastic because Chrome is the browser of choice, and without having to install any additional extensions or apps or whatnot, any one of your users, visitors that are joining one of your meetings, copy and paste the URL into the Chrome browser, boom, you're in the meeting. And it's a fantastic choice if you don't want to install the desktop app for it, but that is another option in terms of accessing Ooma Meetings, and I'm going to show that to you in a second. And then obviously, if you don't want to if you don't want to actually video into a meeting, obviously you can dial into a meeting and just hear audio only. And there are security features as it relates to meeting passwords, dial-in passcodes, and hosts requiring them or not. And I'll show that to you in one more second here. So again, as a recap, you can access a meeting through the app, through the browser, through dial-in, and then getting to the app, there's a couple of ways of doing so. To enable Ooma Meetings, so again, you need to be on Ooma Office Pro, and then once you've enabled Ooma Office Pro, you go to your system setup and you literally just click on this simple message of enabling Ooma Meetings. And then from there, all of your users can access it using their credentials that they were originally assigned as an Ooma user. So let me click on the demo here. Hopefully we're doing good on time. So right now what you're seeing is the desktop app. And I'm not going to go through the features of the desktop app, but just know that you can make calls, soft phone, it's awesome. Send text with any user that has text enable on any of the devices that they have. Send faxes, start an audio conference, and access company directories, so on and so forth, right? But let's get back to Ooma Meetings. So within Ooma Meetings, scheduling a meeting is so straightforward. So you can name the meeting, weekly sales call, weekly collaboration call, whatever it might be. You can select the date and time. You can then make that a recurring meeting. and then you can also set the duration. And currently right now, we set the duration at a 2-hour limit. And so at 1:45, basically you see a notification that your meeting is going to be ending soon. Password is optional. Allowing guests to join before host is an option that I always choose. And so I never, for me personally, I don't like joining a meeting and it's saying waiting for the host to start the meeting. And so I never like that, so I don't actually enable this. And but you can if you want to. If you don't want anybody to interact before you actually get there, that is an option for you as well. So joining a meeting is straightforward. Basically, it's the screen that actually enables you to join a meeting. And you literally just type in the meeting ID that you were given, and there you join the meeting. Meet Now is for ad hoc meetings. And so this now is a live ad hoc meeting in which you can then copy the information to an invite, disseminate that information, and then as soon as that individual types in this meeting ID, boom, they're going to be in the meeting with you. And so I'm going to leave this meeting open for now. But like I said at the beginning of this webcast, there's some features that I wanted to share with you, but I'm the only person on this webcast. So I'm going to toggle back to the presentation in 1 second. So what you also see here are your meetings that you've set up, and then also some of the recent meetings that you've attended for easy access. So let me get back to, well, actually, let me do this. Let me get back to this ad hoc meeting. Let me go over some of the features first. So there is a video grid view, and what you would see is multiple attendees in this meeting, areas in which you can actually then select them. And then there's actually additional functionality in which you can mute a participant, or you can even kick out a participant as the host. You can close the grid view, and then you can also hide the participants. I, for one, do not like looking at myself during a meeting, so I usually turn on my video. I'm not going to turn it on now, and I'm not going to turn on the audio right now. That would cause reverb during this webcast. And then you can also share your screen. So sharing your screen is easy as you'd expect in terms of selecting or the application window, and then essentially just sharing it through. Let me go back to the presentation. So there's a couple of things in the presentation that is a little bit difficult to share. And so one of the things as it relates to, I've already gone through scheduling a meeting and joining a meeting. The chat button, because there's no one else to chat with, you essentially click on it, and now you're in a chat window in which you can actually communicate to your attendees. The bottom bar controls, which I'll also show you in a second, allow you to do some of the features that I mentioned a second ago in terms of muting, downloading apps for additional apps that we have and whatnot. As far as the screen share and how it works, a moment ago I showed you how you would actually share a screen. But in terms of what that looks like is simultaneously, two screens. Imagine this as one user, imagine this as another user, and you wanted to actually see this screen. Essentially, you click on it and you would actually see it in a fuller screen to then therefore see the content. And so imagine, for example, if you actually had 10 people on your call and 7 of them were actually sharing their screens. This viewer would actually look very small, and it would look maybe something like this. And so you would actually want to see what is actually being shared up close. You would essentially just click on it and then be able to actually see that content there. So pretty cool feature as it relates to being able to accelerate collaboration and productivity, especially if there are multiple topics that are being wanted to be discussed in any particular meeting. This is just another view of the meeting management portal that I showed a second ago. This particular screenshot just has obviously more meetings, more of the recent meetings as an example is being shown there. There are some other quick actions that I mentioned, and actually, you know what? I'm going to go to them in a second as it relates to starting, copying, editing in a meeting, so on and so forth. And there are some controls over participants that I mentioned to you and that I wasn't able to show because there are no other participants. So you can mute them, you can mute everyone else, you can make that person the host, you can kick them out, and you can also send them a private message. So features that any top tier video meeting solution would have that you'd expect are part of Ooma Meetings as well. So let me see here. Whoops, let me go back to the viewer, which is the screen. And what I said I wanted to show to you again are some of the areas that you would click on for some of those advanced features. And then as far as the area to edit meetings that I also mentioned a second ago, so let me share the desktop app. And so what you would do here in this example, you could start the meeting, you could copy the link, copy the invitation, view the invitation, and then also edit the meeting itself. So makes it very easy to manage any one of your meetings as you can see. So that, I mean, what else is there more to say about Ooma Meetings at the end of the day? You know, if you are thinking about a Ooma Meetings or video meeting solution, I should say, in and of itself, it needs to be intuitive. And hopefully I've expressed that, I've demonstrated that to you today in terms of just how intuitive the solution is from an administration perspective, as well as from a user perspective. And so if you have any other questions, definitely, you know, feel free to reach out to one of our sales consultants. They'll be happy to take you through another demo. And if obviously you need more content or just need more information about the features itself, definitely you can visit ooma.com. So with that said, thanks for joining. I said I was going to make it a brief webcast because it is such a straightforward and powerful feature that we have. And I hope you get to enjoy it soon. And hopefully I'll see you as a customer soon. Thanks again. Bye for now.